Hello and welcome everybody to Tarot and Write. Today we are with Jen Simpson from Author, and we're going to talk today about how Jen helps authors get published. Jen?
Yes. Hi, Simone. Thanks for
Hi.
having me. Hi,
Absolutely.
everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, Jen, a little bit about yourself.
All right. First of all, I am a mom. I like to lead with that. It was a very long journey to motherhood and something I fought really hard for a long time. And I have two beautiful daughters, and that is my light, my strength. It's my inspiration for writing children's books, which is the genre I work in. And then also, I have a long career in research and documentation and technical writing. And I've been a writer for most of my life. And the creative writing was the hobby. And in the last year, I've really taken a pivot to move into more of an author coaching space to help other writers with publishing, with marketing their books and making use of the experience that I've had and understanding just like all the misinformation that's out there. And there's so many scams, have to say it,
Oh, wow.
unfortunately.
Okay.
So that was something that really was important to me for other writers to avoid. And we can get into some of the personal stories around that if you want
Yeah.
to. But yeah, it really has been a journey, to say the
Nice.
least.
So the name of your publication is Author Gold. Is that right?
Yes, that's
So
right.
tell us a little bit about the publication and what you write about on there.
Okay. The author gold name was inspired by, first and foremost, I'm an author, but I write for other authors. So
Mhm.
it's putting my audience as the front and center and the reason for what I do. And the gold is implying sort of the level of quality, the kind of information, the expertise that I have to bring to the table, as well as other experts. I'm always bringing in interviews with other experts in the industry as well for their perspectives. And so that reminds me to focus on the quality and the level of information that authors are going to get from Author Gold is the real deal and is really going to help them get from confused or what to do next, not sure what the right steps are for them, or a more confident approach and plan for what they're going to do.
Brilliant. And so you mostly work on the publishing side of things?
Yeah, I really cover the breadth of the writing journey. So, especially for new and emerging authors, but also for established ones who've published before, but might
Mhm.
be looking at maybe making different decisions, or maybe they've gone traditional publishing in the past and now want to try self publishing, and that might be a new area for them. So, that's, yeah, the whole breadth. I'm less the writing coach, but we do bring in a lot of conversations around the writing process, being toward a good quality book that you can be proud of to put out there. And then from there into the publishing space, yes, I cover both self and traditional publishing. I am not a fan of the hybrid or vanity presses. I definitely will recommend either a self publishing route or a traditional publishing route. And
Mhm.
then from there, there's also the positioning and the book marketing piece of
Mhm.
it. The myth is that once you write a book and get it out there, it will find its audience. And we know from experiences that unfortunately, the journey is a long marathon and not a sprint.
Yeah.
The marketing piece can be very intimidating for
Yeah.
authors. We're creatives, we're writers, we are trained in how to market or the terminologies, and then add in all the gurus out there who are trying to sell you their marketing, verses, or do this, do that. Here's the hot 10 tips. And then
Yeah.
add in the scams and then people just trying to make money. It becomes really overwhelming really fast. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, that's my reason for author
Mm.
gold is I'm very protective of my authors and my writers who subscribe
Yeah.
to me. So I really have their interest first and foremost in my mind.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a published author.
I really started writing as a hobby. Like I said, I'm a mom with two kids who we love to read. And my older daughter has always made me tell her stories and for bedtime and make them up. And some of these stories really became retold. And I thought, this is really great. So I always had these on the back burner, and I was laid off in some mass layoffs last year. And I said, this is now the time to really push for career pivot into the creative space. So really the inspiration for writing children's books is my kids. And that's been the heart of the journey. And it's been wonderful. And I've learned so much about, like, kids' books in specific. At least before that, my publications have focused more in technical writing and longer form. And so coming into a whole new genre has been really exciting. I love
Mhm.
it. The challenges for children's books is very unique. And now I've started to look at illustration myself. I
Oh,
have been an
okay.
artist since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to write stories and draw the pictures, make my own books when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. So it's always been there. And now I'm really loving exploring this new path for me and then using the experience that I've gained to then help others along the way. That's been really rewarding.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And so, if somebody subscribes to Author Gold, what do you usually find them in the process? They've already written the book, they're still writing it. How do people usually end up finding you?
Yeah, so when they find me, I have different types of writers who are in different stages process. So yes, some of my subscribers have published in some cases multiple books.
Mm.
Some of them have gone the traditional route. Some have gone self-published. Others are still writing their first novel and are in the throes of the writing process itself, the drafting.
Hmm.
So it's mixed. And that's
Hmm.
wonderful because some authors, we have a subscriber group chat. We encourage my subscribers to talk to each other. It's really about supporting each other. People say the writing journey can be lonely. It's a lonely process. And I really want to dispel that belief. I think having a writing community and a supportive community, it makes the whole journey much more fun and lively.
Yeah,
And that's important too, right? That you're enjoying the journey and not just feeling the stress of every step along the way. And so that's important to me. And I hope that anyone who subscribes to Author Gold would feel that and be part of that support. One thing I've really learned, especially on Substack and having a newsletter, having the subscriber community,
yeah.
the more you contribute
Hmm.
authentically, the more that comes back to you.
Yeah.
So it's really wonderful, right? To
Hmm.
feel like there are other people in your corner and you're not just alone trying to write your book, trying to figure out self-publishing and then how do you sell those books once you've published. That is frankly very scary and hard to do that.
Yeah.
Since it is a marathon, you're going to be doing that for a long time. So finding others who can be part of that community with you, that is
So
really,
valuable.
yeah, so valuable. And I have so much fun with it. And I've met some amazing writers and making friends on Substack, which is also this added icing on the
Bonus.
cake.
Yeah. Substack is really a special place to be on the internet right now, I believe. I truly
I think
believe
so.
it.
I
Yeah.
believe too. I have been on the other platforms and it's just a very different experience since I came to Substack, and
Yeah.
it just took off. So I was
Yeah.
having so much fun with it. Author
Uh-huh.
Gold was taking off so fast and it was so rewarding personally. I just had somebody message me with a email from someone who was trying to get them to accept a book award,
Oh
and
no. Yeah.
it was a pay to play kind of setup, and was able to give them some advice. And if I can save someone from being taken advantage of, then I feel like I've done my good deed for the week.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
and if somebody feels like they have my support behind them, I do author coaching. So I can have a session with an author, and when they tell me that the advice really helped clarify their path for them and that they
Yeah.
feel more excited going forward, then that also really makes my day.
Yeah.
So it's been a really fun ride. And yeah, Substack has turned out to be a wonderful platform for that.
How long have you been part of Substack actively?
I discovered Substack in December through
Oh,
another
wow.
friend of mine who writes on Substack. She writes for parents who are expecting a
Uh-huh.
baby, and she brings in the expertise into prenatal and perinatal health.
Oh,
And
cool.
she was telling me about Substack, and I was writing an article for her
Mhm.
Substack. And I was like, what's this Substack thing?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was really out of the loop of
Uh-huh.
Substack. And so I just discovered it and I thought, oh, this is great. This could be an interesting place to house an email list. And
Yeah.
so I just gave it a whirl.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, I had also been wanting to help other authors.
Yes.
I'll tell a quick personal story about that kind of triggered
Absolutely.
all of this.
Yeah.
So in December is when I started Substack, but I didn't really get writing until the new year. The personal story that sort of triggered Substack. So I'd heard about Substack from a colleague. Then I have a personal family, like a family friend who is
Mm-hmm.
also a children's book self-published author. She has a
Mm-hmm.
lovely book. She is the most wonderful, kind human being. And she got it was the holidays. So
Mm-hmm.
we were with family. We had a get together. So I was chatting with her about children's books because I have
Mm-hmm.
mine and she has hers. And she told me the story of how she ended up paying thousands of dollars for a vanity press to
Mm.
republish her book. They redid her cover using really an AI cover, which has nothing to do with her illustrations that are inside. Republished her book. She has no access to like
Oh
her own
no.
book, what's happening, what the sales are. They mangled her cover. She paid thousands of dollars for this and broke my heart. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so livid because I have seen the attempts at scams. I get them every day in my inbox,
Wow.
right? And
Yeah.
just, but this is the nicest person and it's her sweet book. And they, I was seeing red. And
Yes.
I was like, and so that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak.
Yes.
And I
Uh-huh.
said, I have to do this on Substack. I had discovered Substack. So I was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And so that's how Author Gold was officially born.
So sad to hear about your friend, but beautiful to see the work that you're doing now. So, since we're on the topic, tell us a little bit about how authors can avoid getting scammed, or what are the main things that you look out for to know if
Uh,
it's a good deal or not?
yes. So I just wrote a article on all the red flags. So
Yes.
when someone is approaching you with an
Hmm.
offer, you can look for those red flags. So go to Author Gold and
Hmm.
look at my 10 red flags.
Okay.
article so you can get the
Hmm.
full story. So that's pretty much how I lay it out. But you'll
Hmm.
see some of the typical approaches is use of flattery. So first of all, they come out of nowhere. So your book
Mm.
was selected, we discovered your book, but like where, how did you
Hmm.
select it? From what?
Yeah.
You haven't submitted anything.
Uh,
And then they'll use a lot of flattery. Your book is amazing. It's all
mhm.
very big flattery. It could work for any book.
Okay.
I write picture books and sometimes I'll get emails that talk about the depth of the characters and the story was so touching. And I'm like, it's a kid's book. It is touching, but
Yeah.
you know. So you kind of get this flattery. Then you get this big opportunity. And
Uh-huh.
they often, like another key area is they touch on pain points that a lot of authors do have. And one of our biggest
Hmm.
pain points is discoverability, visibility, getting our book in
Hmm.
front of potential readers. That
Yeah.
is our challenge. And so they'll play at that and they will say, this is a big opportunity. They'll often use
Mm.
things like it's a limited time. But usually the benefit to you as an author that is described as quite vague. They'll guilt you. They kind of do this really soft pressure, which is please, you have only they don't want you to take your time to think about it or to research the
Right.
opportunity because then you'll figure it out that
Mm.
it's not a real opportunity for you.
Mhm.
They are there to make money off of you and not actually help you promote your book. That's not in
Mhm.
their interest. And they kind of do use these pressure tactics so that you're not thinking critically or taking the
Mhm.
time to research. A legitimate opportunity is not going to disappear because you take a day to
To
think
think
about it.
about it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So those are some of the hallmarks, the red flags, and also you'll see in the emails, it's usually signed by somebody who comes from it might, you could even Google it and it might at the surface seem like a legitimate thing, but take
Hmm.
your time to research. You'll also see that in the email signatures, there's often not direct contact information. So it might be their name and position title or the award or the readers group name, but then
Yeah.
there's no address, there's no phone number, right? There's no way for you to actually directly make contact other than the email or the direct message that comes through your WhatsApp or through your Facebook Messenger or your Substack app, right? So do watch for those things. There are a lot of opportunities that start with kind of the freebie and then
Mm.
they move, but then there's this paid opportunity. So keep in mind that when someone is coming to you directly, giving you an opportunity, and I put this in my article, like I said it 3 times, so it really sticks. Authors, writers, this is for you. It
Uh-huh.
is a sales funnel.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a sales funnel. This is the tactic.
Hmm.
So do be very careful. And then I just want to say one caveat. Yes, there are legitimate opportunities out there. There
Hmm.
are.
Hmm.
When you get one, you will see how it's different because
Okay.
a legitimate opportunity will be very specific
Hmm.
about what the opportunity is, what the value is for you, how
Hmm.
many readers they have, where your book would actually be in very tangible, understandable, practical ways. They will be able to tell you, and they will
Hmm.
tell you up front, and they won't subject you to a bunch of flattery or use or play with your emotions. They'll give you
Yeah.
time to think about it. You will
Yeah.
get a sense when you see a legitimate opportunity of how it's different from some of these pay to play. At best, it's pay to play.
Hmm.
Worst, damn to take your money.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much because I had no idea that was even a scam, but look at that. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. And sometimes there are, for example, vanity presses. They are essentially service providers. So
Hmm.
you do pay for a service. It's, I don't recommend them because I am of the belief that your writing when it's good, it deserves to be paid for. You deserve to
Hmm.
be paid for your writing, just like an artist deserves to be paid for their art. It shouldn't go the other way around where a writer has to pay to get their book out there. I don't like that sales model. And so I won't recommend it. But I would say that it's not just because it's a vanity press doesn't make it a scam. It
Okay.
does make it a pay to play, meaning you are going to pay. So if you're
Hmm.
going to pay for a service, just make sure you're getting the service you're paying for. So
Yeah.
always do your due diligence and your research, whether you're paying for editing, whether you're paying for a book cover.
Hmm.
Anyone you're hiring, you need to vet them thoroughly.
Brilliant. All right. And if you were to talk to, let's just say you could send one message to all the writers and authors who would like to publish their books out there with one thing, what would you say to them?
That it's a wonderful, rewarding journey when you're doing it for a reason in your heart. Keep that in your front and center of why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Because for most writers, it's yes, we all want to sell our books, but the real reason we're writing is deeper. It's in
Hmm.
our heart, and that's your North Star. So
Hmm.
always tell writers to always remember the real drive and reason and inspiration for why you're writing this. Keep that and use that to guide your decisions. So when there's an opportunity to take a shortcut, or someone is reaching out to you with some fancy deal that doesn't seem quite right,
Yeah.
or someone's asking you to maybe do something that maybe isn't true to your values. You can say, wait a minute, this
Hmm.
isn't me. This is,
Yeah.
and that makes the whole process more rewarding, happier, because it is a journey. It is a marathon. It's a, and it's in some cases truly a calling. So that would be, I think, one thing I would want all writers to keep in mind. And then I'll also say, and subscribe to Author
Ah,
Gold. You should all be
absolutely.
subscribing. No,
Absolutely.
I mean that if not Author Gold, find someone that's truly trustworthy who can be
Yeah.
in your corner. So,
Absolutely.
yes, I am in the corner of my writers. I am your cheerleader. I want you to succeed. I do it because I truly care.
Hmm.
And so, if it's not Author Gold, make sure it's somebody who truly has your best interest at heart.
Awesome. Yes, it's so important to have a safe space too. When you're
Yes.
going through a transformation like this, to have a safe space and somebody that you can go to that, as you say, has your best interest at heart for sure. My
Yes.
my next question is for authors who are considering the option between self-publishing and
Yeah.
traditional publishing. What are your thoughts on those two different journeys and what advice would you give to budding authors?
Hey, so first of all, whether I don't have a default, one is better than the other. They are
Hmm.
both difficult in their own way.
Yes.
There is no easy button, but they both have their challenges, but they also both have reasons for why a given author would choose one or the other
Mhm.
route. And that's very personal and depends on your own goals for your book, your own timelines, your own budget, what you're willing to take on. And so that is personal for every author. My goal and my role as a coach is
Mhm.
to help the author figure out, first of all, where are they sitting? What are the choices? How can they make that choice
Mhm.
and feel good about the choice they're making? That's my role, is to guide them through. What are the pros? What are the cons? Here are
Mhm.
the considerations. Based on that, you could make a recommendation for a given author or a given book. Some authors know they want to go the traditional publishing route. They are like, this is what I want to do. And okay, now I can help kind of guide that process. Or I don't want to go traditional publishing. I want to get my book out. I want to self-publish. Then okay, like here, it's a different journey.
Mhm.
So it really depends on the author, and from my perspective, there's no one way better than the other for everybody. It really depends.
That's wonderful. And I totally agree, right? There are some people who, yeah, in the past, I think it's less in the past, people would see self-publishing as lesser than, but I think it's definitely going down. People don't see it
Yes.
that way as much anymore, and I think there's room now for people to advocate and self-publish for sure.
Yes, 100%. And also, there is a myth that the self-publishing route is easier.
Mm.
And I would say it's faster, but I would say that it's easier.
Yeah.
I would caveat that. But yes, and
Mhm.
in some cases, the traditional publishing route is tried. And at what point would an author decide, okay, I've given it a go and
Mhm.
you can't get an agent or you can't get a publishing contract? Then what
Mhm.
would be, at what point would you to say, okay, I would go self-publishing? I can't get a contract. So that's another saying I choose traditional publishing is not a given. That's going to
Mm.
happen,
Right. Yeah.
unfortunately, right?
Mm.
But at least if you but first, which decision are you going to make, and at what milestones or markers would you say I would pivot?
Absolutely. So, what are in general some of the pros and cons of, let's say, traditional publishing?
The pro of traditional publishing is, I think, number one, the upfront cost to the author is much lower.
Hmm.
So let's say you have a manuscript, you have gone through an editor and you get an agent, and now they're shopping the book for
Hmm.
you. And let's say everything is going swimmingly and a press is going to offer you a traditional publishing contract. So with that, a legitimate traditional press
Hmm.
will cover the costs. So they're taking on the financial risk for you. So they're saying, we're going to invest in this book. So that usually includes the editing, the cover art, all the things that otherwise a self publishing author would be paying for out of pocket. In some great cases, they also cover certain marketing expenses or a small budget for marketing.
Hmm.
Caveat though, that's not a given. There's a
Hmm.
myth that traditional publishing, you don't have to market. But there's often like a really good deal will have some level of marketing. A strong traditional press will also is more likely you would see your books in, say, the Barnes and Noble, right? You'll see it in a bookstore. So there is that benefit. You'd also hopefully get some small advance. For first time authors, you can expect a pretty small advance if you get one. So those are some of the pros of traditional, right? Whereas in contrast that with self-publishing, the author has to get pay for the book cover. You have to pay for the formatting of the book if you need help with that. You have to figure out how you're going to print it, where are you going to sell it, all of those things that the publisher is taking care of. You are now the publisher because you are
Mm.
self. So you are taking on those expenses, that time burden.
Hmm.
And so you have to learn a lot of that, right? That I'm speaking in generalities, but of course, but that's the basic part. You also mentioned earlier about the self-publishing with that's what you do if you can't get a
Mm.
traditional, and that
Yeah.
that that idea is going away, but
Mm.
it's a prestige that comes
Sure.
with traditional publishing that I get it very much.
Hmm.
If you can land one of the top five, that's a big deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a reason that people want to go for traditional publishing, and I think that's okay if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So those are some of the maybe pros to a traditional route.
Brilliant. What about the cons to traditional? I guess time, right?
Time is definitely one of them, right? So it takes a long time. And when I say a
Yeah.
long time, I'm not talking months, I'm talking years.
Yeah.
So it is definitely time consuming. There's
Mhm.
also, there's no guarantee.
Yes.
In fact, you will go through a lot of rejection. It can be really hard on the psyche, even if
Hmm.
ultimately you do come out with a wonderful book deal. In the
Hmm.
meantime, there's a lot of rejection, and
Hmm.
that's hard. That's really
Yes.
hard. We're really close to our work. So I think those are some really big cons to the traditional route where publishing, you get to publish. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
There are no gatekeepers
Yeah.
there. So for better or worse.
Mm, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something definitely to be said about the marketing as well. I've talked to authors who they have this idea in their head that a traditional publishing route means that their book is gonna do really well or that they're gonna have to do less marketing. And that's not always the case.
Oh.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So unless you're getting phenomenal deal as a first time author, there is this idea that it's an amazing book and you're going to get this phenomenal contract, even if it's
Hmm.
with a big five.
Yeah.
First time, again, the traditional publishing, the framework is that they're taking on the financial risk. So a first time debut author, big financial risk to put all this money into a first time book. You don't know how it's going to sell, right?
Hmm.
So those first contracts are generally going to be less lucrative for the author. Then once you're, yes, if you had a bestseller, sure, maybe you would get subsequent books that come with a bigger, say, marketing budget. But the reality is that as the author, whether you go self-publish, whether you go traditional, you will be marketing your book.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
So that's whether you're going traditional or self, you can plan for that though. That's the good
Yeah.
news. Like you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have to be surprised by it. You can plan for the fact that, okay, I'm going to market my book. So what do I need to learn? Who do I need in my corner? How do I set myself up so that when the book launches, I'm ready and I'm going to sell my book. We want to sell our book and we want to make money but we also want our readers to read it and
Yeah.
enjoy it and get feedback on it. And again, that the reason why we're writing in the first place. So, yeah, I think being mentally prepared for that part of it
Hmm.
is going to serve you well and then getting prepared. So
Yeah.
the sooner you do it, the better. But
Hmm.
there's no time like the present, right? So some people are like, oh, I've already launched my book. It's too late to set things up. And you do it now. It's okay. It's part of the journey, guys. We are all learning as we go to some extent. And
Absolutely.
every new book, you're going to learn something new and something different. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make good choices, and you're going to learn from both. That's just the way of life. So try to roll with those punches when they come, learn from the mistakes, and then keep going. That's all we can do.
Absolutely. So, when you're talking to authors who've never marketed a book before, what advice do you usually give them about promoting their book?
I have a lot of advice.
Okay.
Again, subscribe to Author Gold,
Yes.
and you will. And one thing I'm trying to do is start with the foundation. And so my articles do build and
Mhm.
build off each other. I just wanted to let potential subscribers know, like, if
Mhm.
you ultimately, it's the master class in marketing your book,
Yes.
publishing and marketing. But to go to your question, one piece of advice, like the first piece of advice, I think one of the most important things for new authors who've never marketed a book before, they tend to shout out as in terms of their advertisement campaign, buy my book. My book is wonderful. Here's the plot of my book. Isn't it sound amazing? You have to shift your mindset as the author from coming from
Mhm.
your perspective. You have to step into your reader's experience. And so you have to understand, what are they going to get out of their
Mhm.
book? Because if they're going to put money and buy your book, they want something from it. And
Mhm.
you have to convince them in this crowded marketplace with a million jillion books why they should pick your book from the shelf of all the others. And so you have to give them a reason for buying your book. And that reason has to be the reason that they want, not
Mm.
the reason that you think they should be thinking about. So one thing I do with my clients is walk them through the market segmentation and positioning process. They can think about it from their readers' perspective. And one thing I do differently than a lot of other coaches is that I really lean into the writer's own skill set as a storyteller. We're writers, we're authors, we tell stories. So we can use that skill set in and use that as an approach for marketing.
Mm.
And I don't think that traditional marketing courses or coaches are using quite the same framework that I do.
Mhm.
So I learned that it's a lot easier to put good marketing practices in place by using that storytelling chops. And
Mm.
like all things, it's a skill. And the
Mhm.
more you do it, the better you'll get at it.
Mhm.
So it's okay not to get it perfect this time. You're going to iterate as you learn what messaging works and what messaging falls flat. And you just
Absolutely.
keep
Yeah.
iterating and use storytelling to identify what your reader really wants out of your book.
Beautiful advice. I love that because that's really tapping into that skill set that authors already have and transferring it to something that even large marketing firms don't always know what's going to hit home either. So I think it's a testament to what you're saying about just trying and seeing what sticks and what resonates with people and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, tell us a little bit about where we can find your books, because I know you're an author of children's books. What are they called? Where can we find them?
So I have my first children's book. So for the children's books, I have Eva and the Best Day Ever. Is you can buy it on Amazon. That's probably the easiest place for most people. It is inspired by my daughter, my older daughter, who and her real birthday party planning. And I have two more in the works. I have another book, Monday. Monday finds the ocean. Monday is a horse. And it's his journey of discovering the meaning of working toward your goal.
Yeah.
And it has been delayed in the presses. So the pre-orders are coming. It's been, like I said, publishing is a journey. You roll with it. So we've got through some iterations on that book. And I have another one right now with an illustrator. And the title is probably going to change, so I won't tell it to you. But
Uh-huh.
it is about a unicorn who feels maybe not quite fitting in because
Mm.
he has one horn and all the other animals in the forest have with horns have two. It's a retelling of The Ugly Duckling. It's about what makes someone beautiful. And I would say overall, my stories are they're they use imagination and adventure and the plot to weave in life lessons. So I
Mhm.
have two audiences with children's books. I have the child and the parent, and
Yes.
they are reading together usually. I want both audiences to see themselves in the story. So, for example, in Eva and the Best Day Ever, yes, there's a young child who has all these expectations about her birthday. And I think any child can relate to that, right? And the
Yes.
imagination and the imaginative ideas she has for her party. And
Mhm.
then from the parent's perspective, who's hearing all of these ideas, the mother in the story is hey, we can't give. She has to disappoint her daughter. And so, how does a parent navigate disappointing your kid? And I think many parents can relate to that. And in the end, there is a wonderful, because it is spoiler alert, the best
Uh-huh.
day ever. So, things come to a very happy ending in a very, I think, very clever way.
Mhm.
And that's how I approach all the stories. There's more coming, and I have so many different projects right now. My paid subscribers are going to get a little bit more behind the scenes on some of that, but my author gold Substack is really focused on supporting writers. I don't do a lot of sales pitches in author gold. But yes, I do love my books and I do hope that they will all do well. Even The Best Day Ever has done incredibly well. I've sold hundreds of copies within the
Yay.
first month or two that it came out. And it came out last year and it's still selling pretty
Mhm.
well. So it It was a success, I think. It's self-published, and with that, I have been working on. I'm launching a micro traditional press for children's books. It's called
Mm.
Evora Press,
Oh,
and
cute.
it is a traditional publishing house, and so it has slowed, like I said, I have all these irons in the fire. So it's like
Yeah.
slowing down my other book projects, but it's also a passion, right? Is
Oh,
again, looking out for other children's books writers
mhm,
who might feel like they have to go the self-publishing route because
mhm.
they need an agent, they need the book to, and it's hard to get. And
Yeah.
so the Evora Press is really geared toward really supporting the indie author as
Mhm.
well. So we'll see where that goes. It takes a lot of work and time to launch these things, especially when you want to do them well and the
Yeah.
right way. But yeah, Evora Press is accepting manuscripts
Oh, cool. Great.
as well. So if you have a children's book story, you can go to evorapress.com and submit your manuscript, and our editing team will look at it for you. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Very nice. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have a little contest going on. Is that right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I have, like I said, I have so many things going on, but this is what I do. So,
Yes.
yes. So, Author Gold has just started a short story contest. It's cleverly called the Author Gold Short Story Award.
Okay. We love
This
it. We
is
love
our
it.
inaugural event. I hope it will be the first of more to come. And I hope the contest will get bigger and bigger. The competition will never be as easy as it is now.
All right.
But
Okay. Good.
so it is short stories of any genre. There is an editorial rubric. I have a wonderful guest judge. She is a retired English professor and editor. She has edited books in the
Uh-huh.
past. Her specialty has been memoir, but she reads and edits like every genre. So really excellent. And there is a small cash prize. There is a gold tier, so the paid 1 year subscription to Author Gold, and you get author coaching from me as part of the prize package. And of course, the number one reason for doing this contest is visibility.
Mm.
So obviously the winner will get their story published in Author Gold. I'm going to push it for you hard to all of
Yeah.
my audience. I have the Substack, I have Facebook, I have quite a larger audience beyond
Hmm.
the Substack. We're going to push it. I have some editors I know. I'm going to be talking with an audiobook narrator to do maybe some
Cool.
audio stuff. There's
Mhm.
lots coming. And then also for any other strong entries, I want to do the same for the strong entries as well. So
Yes.
even if you don't win the
Hmm.
prize, my goal with this contest is to really help get that visibility for authors. So
Brilliant.
please check out the Author Gold Short Story Award. You can get it at the authorgold.substack.com. It's right
Hmm.
there, writing competition. If you are a free subscriber, it does cost $5 to enter. I wanted to make it free. Maybe next time I could figure out a way, but I have to I made it as cheap as I could so that I could
Uh-huh.
still fund the
Yes.
contest. So
Oh,
that's why. And I am exploring some ways that we could maybe crowdsource or do some other ways in the future. So we'll see. But this is my inaugural one, and I wanted to
yeah.
start. We got to start. We're going to start small,
We'll
and
start
who
somewhere.
knows? And once your
Yes.
short story is submitted and it's wonderful, if I like it, I will be pushing it.
Let's go.
There you go.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me, Jen, and for everything. Is there anything else you would like to say to the budding authors out there before we end off
Yeah.
the interview?
First, thank you, Simone, for having
Yeah,
me. It's been a
absolutely.
pleasure. I really
Mhm.
appreciate having a platform to talk about myself, Author Gold, the contest, publishing, marketing, and you asked some really great questions. So I think anyone watching hopefully is going to get a lot out of this interview.
Awesome.
For the authors out there, it is always a pleasure for me to speak with you, to learn about your journey. We all have this very personal journey for writing, why we write, what we've written. And I just want to say, keep going. I love what you're
Hmm.
doing. It's wonderful. It is hard. It is all the things.
Uh-huh.
And it's because of creative writers like you all that the world has these incredible books and
Yes.
worlds to explore and characters to learn to love or hate. And that is making the world a better place. So
Yes. All
thank you for
right.
what you do.
Yes, so true. Thank you so much, Jen. And make sure that you check out Author Gold and the short story contest. It will be definitely worth submitting your short stories to get better visibility. And thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you so much, Simone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.